So I think with that, we will save the questions for Richard. We will try to get Fisher Director Eric Paringit next, and then we will have a Q&A after that. We're running a little bit behind schedule. Hopefully, you guys stay on and get to ask your questions either in the chat room or in person if you wait a little longer after Eric's presentation. So Eric, please take it away.
Yes, good morning to everyone. Thank you very much, Al, for the invitation and also to the members of PAASE. I hope you can hear me fine. I'm currently at home, obviously, because of the ECQ, but I have to share my resources with kids, and so I hope my screen is okay. So I'm going to share the easy thing about what I'm going to present is that most of the things that what I need to say was already presented by my that came before me, which had I appreciate that they had already shared some of the things that we're doing at the UST, and particularly at the Shared. And of course, support for research and development and other programs that will support the development of human resources and institutions for science and technology. But of course, lately, we've been heavily supporting initiatives to ensure that our technologies come out and be used and be utilized by the public, no? Whether this are to be used by our key industries or budding entrepreneurs who might have interest in putting up businesses that are related to recent S&T developments. And this slide shows basically how we're sort of viewing the relationships between us as a part of the government. We provide funding. We set out the policies and plans for research and development based on what we thought or what we think the market and the industry tells us, no? And also prospecting on future areas where we might need collaborations. So startups and spin-offs now hold a very special place in our heart, no? As seen in the previous slides. We've come up with special programs for them through the years. And I'll tell you some of these things in the next few slides. But more so, there's been a greater impetus for doing all of this because of the Innovative Startup Act, as you have known, as you well know, have been passed into law just last year. So the DICT, DTI, and the UST have come up with the joint guidelines that will enable us to access, that will enable entrepreneurs to access funds through startup grants, joint ventures, and even setting up of startup ecozones. But this effort is not really new to us because we have had programs and projects deployed, of course, in cooperation with various support groups, like of course USAID through the STRIDE program. Richard has very well described his experiences in working with us in these efforts, as well as the continuing efforts to capacitate not only us as the research council, but also our researchers, which are being transformed slowly but surely into entrepreneurs, and of course the host universities and institutions that nurture them, because we wanted to provide a whole experience in creating this innovation ecosystem. We likewise had supported the startups through additional research grants so that their products that are coming out of R&D eventually find their way into market, and of course we have the technology business incubators and that are being put up everywhere in the country through its various programs. Um, for those startups that are coming up from universities, we have established this program to commercialize those that are DOST funded, particularly coming from PSHERD. And these are designed basically to translate these research outputs into market-ready products, or at least simulate the operations of a startup company. So this will encourage researchers to pursue commercialization efforts for their technologies. It has been running for 2 or 3 years now, because some of them are the startups are not starting at the same time. But at least we now see some encouraging signs that we are indeed coming up with numbers that are encouraging. And we'd like to see more of these spin-offs coming out and take on the real challenge of putting out the technologies into real-world applications and within the consciousness of the public. These are just, I'm just going to run through the examples that are coming from spin-offs that are coming from Bigger Mean. You have Azure marketing their products for monitoring structures. You have Fisheye, which was mentioned earlier under Dr. Prosnabal. Smart Surface presented this spin-off product from one of these products. And then Charm, which is a fast charging equipment that's now currently being integrated into the electric vehicle, that were procured or purchased through DOE funds. It's getting the best of many projects being rolled out by various agencies of government. And then you have technologies that are coming off to support, of course, government perform its role, such as traffic management. You have one for that supports our marine, and for monitoring and mapping. You have FruitTech, which is a formulations applied to fresh fruits through the ripening process from UPLB. And Guitarra One has spun its project from the university. So we've been projects or industries that are related to on the creative side. And of course, you have non-encapsulated plant growth regulators. So these are just, I was going through this rundown of startups, trying to find commonalities between them and trying to find what made them go ahead with their initial breakthroughs and successes, at least in commercialization. Now, one of the identified pain points in having this commercialized is having to engage the universities to prepare also the technology by protecting and making sure that policies and processes are in place to transfer the technologies, because these are technologies that are, after all, developed through university resources. So in the impact program, does exactly this, and you have universities that are being assisted through the KTTO impact programs with 8 grantees. Aside from that, we also have, of course, our startup research programs, which now supports our startups to overcome development roadmap, and to, of course, strengthen their intellectual property. This is this program is focused mainly on those technologies that have been created outside the university support ecosystem. So these are the accomplishments and numbers. And this slide shows the grantees that have been recipients of the products. Jerome was here earlier to present his journey with nanotronics, and we're quite pleased with the road that he's taken and the accomplishments that he shared with us, which I hope will also inspire others to persevere. No, we understand that there are challenges that went along the way, and it so happened, of course, that the support coming from the different groups, us from the government, the UST, DTI, as well as USAID Stride, through their mentorship programs, where we were able to help him through. So these are just examples of those startups which we supported. I just highlighted a few because I think some of these will have a pivotal role in how we deal with the new normal. We thought that some of these startups might have some initial challenges in getting markets ready, but within the context, I think, of the pandemic, it became more it became more apparent that they appear to be more marketable. They have more traction in the online market because of their ability to provide digital solutions. And this is the message that I'd like to send also out to those who are starting out, as to our budding startups, because we would like them to pivot into areas where they think, where we all think would thrive under under the current conditions. Another program is, of course, our higher education institution readiness for innovation and technopreneurship. This is basically our TBI development program, which is aimed essentially to put up this business incubators in universities. I think we now have 30 that's already working. We approved within the last 3 months or so. So through this, we hope to increase the capabilities of existing of the TBIs and provide the avenues to them, for them to be present or visible on the international market. So for TBI 4.0, the aim is essentially to link up those TBIs that had gone on earlier to be developed, to not only be present locally but also internationally. So this is done essentially through partnerships with other TBIs, active TBIs all throughout the world. Currently, this is meeting some also challenges because of the restrictions due to travel. So I think they're continuing on with their partnership with other TBIs elsewhere in the world through all of these online engagements. So far, these are the accomplishments in numbers of the TBI 4.0 program. UPF scale is actually part of this. And as we were monitoring all of these activities, the numbers alone that we get from 2019 is quite encouraging. There have been many questions on what the innovation in startup ecosystem had accomplished through the years. And for simplicity, we are currently looking at these key metrics for us to use, so that we will be guided on the performance as well as on the capabilities of our startups and TBIs that are hosting them. So this can be shown by the numbers of startups that were incubated, that startups that have transformed into full-blown companies. Maybe they can also be gauged by the number of jobs that they created along the way, which is what our intentions are. And then, of course, we are monitoring investments that came their way and the revenues that they have also collected. I mentioned in passing through the slides some of the key challenges that our startups and innovators are facing, especially those that are coming off from research and development institutes or from higher educational institutions. I observed that there's really a need for us to be able to assist them develop their develop a real understanding of market needs and prospects. Some of the regulatory requirements, the ways on how to really start up their business are some of the key pain points. It seems that technology has taken a backseat in all of this when they come to this stage where they have to now overcome the administrative and challenges related to establishing their presence in the market. So to make this easier for all of them, we need to start them early by shifting or transitioning the way how our researchers think from basically an R&D, a purely R&D approach to a possibility of including technopreneural foresights in their activities. So also we thought it would help if our innovators, our researchers have an immediate knowledge or information of the different programs on programs that we have in order to support them, because the earlier that we engage them in their activities, the better it is for us to be able to find programs that are more appropriate according to their level of readiness. And of course, as I've already mentioned, the new normal poses a lot of these challenges. Some actually see this new normal as an opportunity. And in fact, as I've mentioned earlier, some are now thriving because of the suitability of their systems in the context of new normal conditions. In the next few, we hope that we're going to really now come up with a final version of the guidelines for startup grants specific to the UST. There's we are trying to, I think only the last remaining portions which we are trying to reconcile is to make it consistent with our R&D guidelines, in order for them not to be more consistent with each other. As I mentioned, we ought to develop programs that put in place R&D and entrepreneurship coming in together, so that this will facilitate the adoption of technologies. We also wanted to promote access to laboratory testing facilities. I'm speaking particularly here of those that are present in the university, in the UST laboratories, because also we also want to encourage our innovators to extensively take advantage of these facilities as they go through their development stages, to come up with products that will really pass through market requirements and also meet the regulatory requirements. Also, we thought that we need to also improve our linkage programs through partnership with other government agencies. Perhaps DTI has been a very strong partner. We also wanted to ensure that we have the same strong relationships with other government agencies in order for us to accelerate the process of finding industry partners for our innovators, ensure that there's a steady supply of materials for them to be able to use, and maybe provide incentives for so that they can good access to supply that they need to produce their products, and then also a way for them to find customers. I think that will be my last slide. Again, thank you very much to PAASE for this invitation. Al has been very supportive. I'd like to also give gratitude to the speakers that came before me, because they really had been very active and supportive to the cause of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. And with them, the team wouldn't have done it alone. So we truly appreciate their contributions. Thank you very much again for the invitation. Good morning.
Thank you, Eric. And this, actually, you are the last piece of the puzzle for today, given that everyone's well represented, not only from the companies, from the big, well-established, all the way down to the small, starting out to academia, government, and of course, USAID's right in the middle, that has greatly helped our ecosystem in science and technology in the country. You're all, congratulations to you all. Thank you again very much for coming and presenting to our session on R&D, commercialization, and technopreneurship.